Tonight, a report from the Department of Justice highlighting what many knew all along. The victims at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde were failed by law enforcement. The report released today uses language like unimaginable horror and cascading failures to describe law enforcement's response to that school massacre. Today, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland was in Uvalde to announce the findings of the Justice Department's year-long review into the massacre. He called the response a failure that should not have happened.
As a consequence of failed leadership, training, and policies, injured and scared students and teachers remain trapped with the subject in the classrooms, waiting to be rescued.
We've got team coverage tonight. KVUE's Quita Culpepper met with families in Uvalde after the report was released. But let's begin with Ford Sanders in the studio tonight to run through some of the big takeaways from the DOJ's review. Ford?
Brian, this report calls out issues with training and the lack of an aggressive response to take out the shooter. Now, I spoke with the leader of the National School Resource Officer Union to see exactly what law enforcement can take away from the DOJ's review.
More than 600 days of investigations and interviews, digging into a response that the DOJ says included cascading failures.
Had the law enforcement agencies followed generally accepted practices in an active shooter situation and gone right after the shooter to stop him, lives would have been saved.
The 600-page report outlines some issues we already knew about, that officers treated this as a barricaded suspect rather than an active shooter scenario, that officers were told to stand down instead of going into the classroom immediately, and that police radios didn't work in the school. But it also revealed that even after the 70-plus minutes of waiting in hallways and outside the school, about a minute passed from when officers initially opened the door to the classroom to when the gunman revealed himself from a closet and was shot.
If they've shot people, wounded them, killed them, that it's nothing for them to wound or kill more. So we have to find them and we have to stop it.
Mo Kennedy is the executive director for the National Association of School Resource Officers. He worked as an SRO when the Columbine shooting happened in 1999.
The lessons learned just from some of those school shootings of the late 90s should be enough to propel us forward to keep this from happening.
They say there was a minute that went by where, once they got into that classroom, he was in the closet and they were clearing corners, but a whole minute had gone by before that shooter had even been taken down.
It's hard for people to hear, but you have got to eliminate that threat.
The DOJ report includes recommendations for future training, like having police and government agencies conduct preparedness exercises with school districts at least annually, training all school district staff and school police employees on threat assessment processes, and having Uvalde CISD police undergo an accreditation process. And Kennedy says, in contrast to Uvalde, the response in the March 2023 school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, is something others should strive for.
It was textbook. It was unbelievable. We'll never know how many lives they saved.
Governor Greg Abbott and DPS leaders say the state has already adopted and implemented some of the recommendations the DOJ mentioned in this review. And the governor says Texas will continue to look at those recommendations to prevent future tragedies like this. Brian.